Adobe is about to make some changes to Photoshop and how we deal with editing color. For real estate photographers, this will affect on how we edit interior photos, in particular when we deal with color casts, which is one of the most common edits that we have to perform. Now, a lot of YouTubers are out there promoting this thing as the greatest thing since sliced bread, but I can tell you that it's not. What I want to do is show you this new upcoming feature, but also better ways to do this with existing tools in Photoshop. To see this new feature and how to do things better, we're going to take a look at 3 examples. We're going to take a look at this dining room, we're going to take a look at this foyer for a commercial shoot, but we're going to start off with this really bad case of color cast. Now, if you've ever shot a house that has these bright laminate floors down here, you know how much they cast a lot of yellow and red. So if we were to take a look at just the ambient shot that we have here, we can see that there was a lot of color cast that was just naturally there from the sun that was beaming in, also lights that are coming in over here. And a lot of that went away when I used Flash. So using Flash, then I'm not gathering any of that ambient light, very little of that. And then when I add ambient luminance to it, doing the flambient technique, and then eventually the darken mode window pull, then I've got something that looks a lot better than if I had just tried to use ambient brackets alone. And by the way, if you're not familiar with this process of adding darken mode window pulls and also the ambient luminance for the flambient blending, then I would encourage you to take a look at my course on professional interior photography, and I have a link to that down in the description of this video. A few other things that I'm going to talk about in here too will be covered in a lot more detail in my course on expert editing, link to that also down in the description of this video. But let's get back to this new tool and how it works when we're taking a look at color casts and better ways to resolve it with what exists in Photoshop. To do that, we'll take a look first at the beta version of this feature that's coming out, but then we're going to go back to existing versions of Photoshop to show the better ways to do the exact same thing and other techniques that are also better. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go right above our ambient luminance. I don't want to affect our window pull, which is up here at the very top. So I'm just going to select our layer here where the ambient luminance is, and then I'm going to go up to Layer, and then New Adjustment Layer, and to Hue Saturation Layer. So once I have this layer, you can name it anything you like, you'll see that something is different from older versions of Photoshop in that there's no menu for the colors to work with here. It used to be a drop-down menu, now they have these little dots. But that's not the biggest issue here and the biggest change that would be affecting how we edit color casts. What we see instead is a new preset up here that if you click on here, you'll see something called prominent colors. When you click on that, then it'll change those little dots into the various colors that are in this room. Now, the YouTube sphere, a lot of YouTubers out there are saying, this is just fantastic, I can see all these colors, but quite honestly, even if I wasn't doing real estate photography, I don't see much of a use for them. I can kind of see what those colors are, but they're not telling me where those colors are. Where are my greens? I don't know. I see by selecting this that I'm somewhere in here. If I select this, I see that I'm in those colors, but I don't know what those are. So I can though, just like we've done before, and I'm going to show in more detail here in these examples, I can select this little tool right here that looks like a little finger. And when I click that, then I can click another area. Like for instance, I'll click on the wall and then I can see, oh, it's selected this swatch over here. And I can click on the ceiling here and see that it clicked this swatch here. But that's not just the color of the ceiling, it's other things as well. So it does help me kind of narrow down what something is, but this really doesn't help me at all. So what I'd like to do in this case to really get rid of the color cast is I want to desaturate this out of there. So to be able to do that, I could select this area once again with that little hand tool. And then what I would do is take the saturation slider and move it to the left. You can see I'm desaturating that color cast. Now it's desaturating everything everywhere, and it is somewhat narrowly focused in that it's not gathering as much of the ceiling fan. But let's back out of that. Let's go up here to where we just started this new layer and let's go back to the default usage. This would be what we'd see in the existing Photoshop, the older versions of Photoshop, if you selected this wheel in the newer one, which is just really default. It's just a matter of colors. Once again, though, I can select this little finger tool and I can click over here and basically get the same color range, maybe just a little bit different. And once again, then I can slide the saturation down to desaturate that. And it's protecting just as much of these colors up here that it did before. Now this is all in a mask, so I can, if I wanted to, I can mask some of this out, or I can even take things further. If I really wanted to get all the casts off that ceiling, you can see that the walls are pretty well protected. If I turn this on and off, you can see we really did get rid of a lot of the color casts that were on the walls. Still have a lot on the ceiling, and that's easy enough to do. Another little trick here before moving on to using this tool in other ways is we'll select the Object Selection tool. Make sure that it's in Lasso, and then Sample All Layers, and then what we want to do is draw just a rough kind of a lasso around that ceiling. Doesn't have to be exact at all. When it closes then, you can see it selected the ceiling. Then what we can do is go up to Layer, New Adjustment Layer, and then Hue Saturation Layer. Once again, and just leaving it in default mode, just desaturate whatever's there. So now we've got that desaturated. It did desaturate the fan, and if you wanted to take care of that, all you have to do is take your quick selection tool and just kind of real roughly over here. Once again, this is the object selection option, and then once that's selected, you adjust on the layer mask, press delete. Then we'll do Control D or Command D on a Mac to deselect. So that took care of what we needed, but it really didn't buy us much when we went to removing those color casts compared to the older way. Now, there's another two ways to do this though. And one, I want to show this example to show range, and then we're going to show something here where instead of just getting rid of color casts, we're going to replace the color casts. So first though, let's take a look at this option here, and let's look at it in the existing older version of Photoshop. In this example, we can see that there's a number of color casts, and that's because we're not doing flambient here. This is actually a high-end HDR technique where if I take my window pulls out of here, we can see that we started out with an ambient layer that then had a little bit of a darker one that was blended with luminosity masking, just like I show in my expert editing course. I got some different lessons on doing various types of high-end HDR. This is one of them, including then adding these type of window pulls, which didn't require cutting in these windows. Those are actually darken mode window pulls, just like I would do for just any other flambient, except it's over top of an HDR image. That's what these are here. Anyways, moving on to the issue at hand here, now that we have this image, we'd like to deal with the color casts, which were just inevitable because we didn't use Flash. So if we go up here to the very top, we can take a look with the color picker tool that we have got some blues up here, and then we've got over here some greens. So what we'd like to do is have a range of green and blues just to take care of the color cast that's coming in from the sky and also the trees. So what I'm going to do is go below all of our window pulls. That's what this was down here. And below the window pulls, wherever you're working, then you would add a new hue saturation layer. So here I'll go up to Layer, New Adjustment Layer, Hue Saturation Layer, just like we did before, and now you'll get something that you're probably a lot more familiar with that's in these older versions of Photoshop. Now there's no need for all those other little dots here. There's no preset to do prominent colors. All you need to do, just like we did before, is take this little finger tool and click over here where the color casts are. And here you can see that it even picked up that there are greens and there are blues. If I want to widen this, I can manually change these sliders, but I can also just take the plus dropper and I can click around these other areas, and sure enough, this expanded a little bit. Go over here and see if the blues, sure enough, expanded a little bit as well. So with those then selected, I can then just desaturate this. You can see we're getting a much better result, although we do have some desaturation going on the floor. So what I would do is just take a polygon lasso tool, and I would just then take the floor and just take a polygon there and delete that out of there. Okay, so now it's affecting everything else but where we want that color. So this is after removing the color cast, and this is before and then after. Now this worked fairly well, but all that we did here was remove color, and we're basically just desaturating stuff. We might not want to do that, especially for something that has a lot more color in the walls, like for instance in this example. So what we want to do in this example isn't work with a range of colors or desaturate any. What we want to do is replace them. Using the hue saturation layer, even the new one with prominent colors, there is a hue change that you can do, but it's really not going to get you accuracy the way that this technique that I want to show you will. The tricky part with this particular one, this was flambient, and I did get very accurate colors. You can see here's flash, here's ambient. I did a little bit of the desaturation of the ceiling, and then this was my final bump applied to it. But if we go up here and sample the colors, if we go down here, we can see the true wall color, which is actually a type of blue. It was actually a designer white, which has a little bit of blue in it. That's why the red, greens, and blues are very much equal. You can see even here they are. And it's really a type of gray, but it's on the blue scale. When we go up here though to the top and we sample a color, we can see that it's very warm. That's coming from these incandescent lights that are up here. So even though I had almost eliminated entirely almost all of this color that was coming off of here, there's still some cast that's left. So let's take care of replacing this cast with the proper wall color. We don't want to just desaturate it and turn it white. We want to change it into this blue hue. Easy enough, done. What we'll do is at the very top, we'll stamp all our layers together. You can do Control-Alt-Shift-E, or if you're on a Mac though, it would be Command-Option-Shift-E. It gets you one layer, and you can see here, it's just one layer. Now, what I'd like to do here is just mask off this wall. This is really the only problem area that we had. Now, you could use a polygon lasso tool or whatever you feel would be best for the job at hand. I'll just use the quick selection tool, and I'll go around here and grab this area. I'll grab over here into the curtains. It's doing a pretty good job. It grabbed some of the ceiling. We can deal with that later if we want to, and also we can deal with anything that it caught inside of the pictures as well. But what we want to do here with this area selected is now do a replace color. But we want to first mask this off. So what I'm going to do is apply a layer mask just by pressing this little icon here, and now just that area is selected. If I do Alt-click on it, we can see that's our mask. Some of the pictures were included here, but we can easily remove those later. Same with this light. Going back to the layer itself, on the layer icon, what you would do is go up to Image, Adjustments, and then Replace Color. In this dialog, you have at the very top the color that you want to replace, and at the bottom, the color should be replaced with. So we'll select this icon here and click up here where our casts are, and we'll get something that's in that range. That's good. Now, what we can do is we can see what's selected, and we can refine it with the fuzziness slider. So if there's really a high fuzziness, it's just going to be collecting everything. So we'll get something that's kind of just in the range right about there. We can change that later. What we want to do now is change the color it should be. So you click this swatch down here, and then the wall color that we know is accurate, which is down here. Now you immediately saw this color change up here. And that's good. Let's just keep it at that color. We'll say okay. We can change it at any time that we'd like, but we can also now add more color, or more range I should say, by selecting that plus eyedropper and going into these areas that weren't picked up. So now these areas are being picked up, and I can change now because of that some of the tolerance in this fuzziness slider. Now we can see that it does look quite blue up here, and it is a little unnatural. So what we can do is I'll just click OK. And if you don't like all of that selected, and to that extent, change the opacity of the layer, and we'll just drop that opacity down, let's say to about 60%, and that looks pretty good. Let's take a look at what it looked like before That's with the color casts, and now this is after. Now some of the luminance is changing if we go back and forth, and that's because this is in normal mode. What we should do, since we're worried about color, is change its mode from normal to color. Now if we turn this on and off, there is no difference in light, there's no difference in luminance, there's only the difference in color. If there were one thing that I would ask Photoshop to have instead of this new prominent color tool, that's the ability to have their AI engine eliminate color casts automatically. Now there are a lot of automated ways in Photoshop to detect colors, to adjust colors, but there really hasn't been anything that truly adjusts colors the way AI could do it, but they're putting it into this prominent colors feature in the hue saturation layer. So I don't find that useful at all. I'm going against the grain on what a lot of YouTubers are calling the greatest thing since sliced bread when it comes to this prominent color feature in the hue saturation layer. I really don't see much of a need for it. I see it more of a hindrance. It's just annoying not actually seeing what those colors are. If I wanted to go to the drop-down menu and pick reds, I'd pick reds. People also don't always see all the same colors everybody else does. There are people that are color challenged. Having a drop-down menu is very useful, and it's something that I did suggest to Adobe, and who knows, maybe when this comes out they'll actually have both the drop-down menu and those little color dots in there as well. Anyways, there's a lot of ways that you can edit color in Photoshop. This is just some of them. I have a lot more throughout my courses, and as this new feature does come out, I'll follow up on that also, and I'll post a new video as well.